Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mason Zero MTG. Today we're jumping back into Trivial Tribal, everyone's favorite series, where we pick a silly or bad tribe in Magic the Gathering and attempt to make a commander deck around it. Today, our tribe is Djinns. Commonly referred to as genies here in Western culture, Djinns are in Middle Eastern folklore or strong, human-like creatures known to grant wishes and fly. They are often also considered to possess humans and cause harm to them. They're related closely to demons, but are distinguished from them. A lot of these traits are represented in Magic's Djinns. Some older Djinn cards deal damage to you in exchange for a strong body or other effect. Some newer ones have the mechanical equivalent of granting wishes or some other sort of trickery. Picking a commander for this tribe is a bit complicated. There are Djinn in all colors, with blue being the dominant one. If we wanted to do this the easy way, we'd pick the only legendary Djinn, which is Zahid Djinn of the Lamp from Dominaria. However, with only 44 total Djinn cards, it would be nice to have access to as many of them as possible. Luckily for us, a lot of the better Djinns come out in the Tarkir block with the Jeskai clan. With that in mind, I settled on Shu Yun the Silent Tempest as my commander for this deck. He is not a Djinn himself, but he represents the colors of the Djinn in Tarkir and has two of the most common colors of Djinns in Magic, that being blue and red. This actually works really well because Shu Yun wants non-creature spells. Many of the Tarkir Djinn have prowess. Most other Djinn don't have any sort of particular synergy with anything, so we'll be treating them as big flying beaters for the most part. Let's start with the creatures that want non-creature spells. Sage of the Inward Eye is going to be one of our best cards. It can give all of our creatures lifelink, which will be great considering the life loss mechanic that some older Djinn have. Soulblade Djinn essentially has prowess for all of your creatures, so he is one you want to get as well. We have a suite of medium level prowess creatures in Lotus Path Djinn, Riverwheel Aerialist, and Whirlwind Adept. These aren't the most exciting, but they are good filler cards to have. Our other spell-based creature is Djinn Illuminatus, which gives all of our spells replicate. That ability, as well as our other spell-based triggers, encourages us to play a lot of cheap spells. Some of our control cards are Tidespout Tyrant and Sage Eye Avengers. These can bounce big threats back to your opponent's hands. Stratus Dancer is also a nice surprise because you can counter a spell on a Megamorph activation. Your opponent might not see this coming either because there are several other morph creatures. Maelstrom Djinn, Mistfire Weaver, and Monastery Loremaster can all be morphed. Now we'll talk about some of our miscellaneous Djinn. Djinn of Infinite Deceits can exchange two creatures for a fun surprise. Old Man of the Sea is similar with the ability to gain control of a small creature. Djinn of Wishes can cast spells for free. This doesn't fit great with our theme of small spells, but we can probably get some discounts on our larger creatures. Indentured Djinn draws 3 cards for each player, but you can benefit from those more than others, hopefully. Drifting Djinn has cycling, which makes it versatile despite being a mediocre creature itself. Mahamori Djinn is a bit vanilla, but it's a well-costed flyer that will help end games in the air. Ruham Djinn is the only mono-white Djinn in Magic, but as a likely 5/5 first strike, it's not a bad inclusion. Stormcloud Djinn has a fire-breathing ability that you can pour some mana into, and then of course Zahid Djinn of the Lamp is another well-costed flyer that can actually be cost-reduced. Our last Djinn creatures are going to be Halam Djinn and Warden of the Eye, both of which are just fine. Since we're in a prowess deck, we are playing a lot of 1-mana pump and protection spells that will trigger prowess on our creatures. For this deck, I chose Titan Strength, Expedite, Brute Force, Emerge Unscathed, Reckless Charge, Distortion Strike, Artful Dodge, Slip Through Space, Invigorated Rampage, God's Willing, Jeskai Charm, and Crash Through. We also have an aura in aqueous form. For draw and card selection spells, we're playing Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, Serum Visions, Izzet Charm, Faithless Looting, and Dig Through Time. Our removal spells also trend towards the cheap side with Swords to Plowshares, Cyclonic Rift, Counterspell, Boros Charm, Path to Exile, Return to Dust, Chaos Warp, and Supreme Verdict. For our final spell, we have Past in Flames to get them all back. All of these spells are interchangeable. If you find that your deck needs a different ratio of these cards, just look at the standard spells used in Shu Yun decks for inspiration. For enchantments and artifacts, we have some that help with spellcasting. Jeskai Ascendancy helps pump and select cards, Jace's Sanctum lets us scry and reduce the costs. Primal Amulet also reduces our cost and benefits from casting more spells. Scroll of the Masters is an investment that can make one of our flyers huge in the future. Sunforger enables us to seek out more small spells, and Runechanter's Pike gets better the more spells there are in your graveyard. We're picking Swiftfoot Boots over Lightning Greaves because we don't want to not be able to target our creatures. In terms of tribal cards, we're just running Adaptive Automaton and Door of Destinies. Our creatures are already pretty big and really don't need much of a buff. The real tribal aspect here is the fact that Djinn generally work well with spells. For mana rocks, we have Soul Ring and Commander Sphere. We don't need anything too fancy in terms of lands. You can create your mana base however you like for a typical 3-color deck. You'll probably want Reliquary Tower and Slayer Stronghold, as well as Cavern of Souls and Unclaimed Territory for that tribal synergy. So there's Djinn Tribal in Commander. It's not the most creature-centric tribal deck, but our prowess creatures give us a good theme to go off of. This is a big flying deck. If you like this tribal deck, let me know in the comments if you've built this tribe or have any other ideas that I missed. And if you liked the video, consider liking it or subscribing and following my Instagram, which is linked below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.